Friends, imagine this. A woman walks into the courtroom, face calm, voice composed, but inside, every breath she takes feels like a hidden scream. What if I told you that before she uttered a single word, the judge saw her pain, the trembling in her hands, the faint flicker of hurt in her eyes? You won't believe what unfolded next. In the gravest hush of the room, the gavel fell, and the truth poured out like rain. She thought she could hide it, thought she could bury the hurt under a polite nod, a steady posture, a quiet voice. But the courtroom doesn't lie. The judge doesn't miss what the heart whispers, and neither will you once you hear this story. What drove her to that place? What secrets was she carrying into that courtroom? Why did the judge lean forward and ask, "Are you okay?" before any lawyer even spoke? And how did everything change in the moment she finally let down her guard? Stay with me, because tonight you will walk into that courtroom, you will feel the weight of her silence, you will witness the moment the mask slipped, and you will understand why some hurts live in hidden corners of our souls for years. Will justice heal her? Will truth set someone free, or break something fragile forever? By the end of this story, you will know more than a verdict. You will feel a human heart exposed. So lean in, because she tried to hide her pain, but the judge saw it before she spoke a word. The lights in the courtroom were bright. The audience sat with hush-filled expectation. Enter the judge. She is none other than Judy Sheindlin, known to millions as Judge Judy, the no-nonsense arbitrator who cuts through excuses and sees the real story beneath the facade. But today the drama is different. It's not just about dollars, contracts, or petty grievances. It's about something far deeper. The woman standing before the bench is poised, dressed neatly, eyes forward, her lips pressed into a thin line, determined. Everything about her says composed, strong, in control. And yet her posture betrays her. A slight slump, a hand brushing her hair back, a pause just a shade too long. The setting, a modest courtroom studio set up like any small claims tribunal. But the stakes in her mind are nothing but small. She arrived earlier, sat quietly, watched case after case get resolved with sharp words and clip-on mic jurors. She watched the judge, known for blunt questions, swift judgments, and she wondered, would the judge see me simply as one more litigant, or would she see the story behind the suit? Our main character's name is Sarah. Sarah has been carrying something for years, something she didn't speak of, something she thought she could manage alone. Today, she stands in front of that gavel because the hidden wound finally forced a public reckoning. Judge Judy opens the case. "Today we have a plaintiff, Sarah, suing the defendant for damages," she says. But her gaze doesn't just glance at the papers. It sweeps the room. It stops at Sarah. The judge senses more than what the paperwork shows, and Sarah senses the stare. Her throat tightens. She forces her shoulders back. She nods respectfully. She's ready, but not fully ready. Why is Sarah here? The official line says unpaid loan, breach of agreement, compensation sought. But underneath that surface lies a story of broken trust, a shattered confidant, a wound she thought she'd closed long ago. The judge knows many people come here seeking money, some seeking revenge, some simply wanting closure. But the ones who hide more, those are the ones you remember, the ones that tug at something inside you. As the audience leans in, the air shifts. The judge clears her throat. "Tell me your story, Sarah." The microphone picks up the soft inhale. The room falls silent beyond the hum of the overhead lights. And Sarah begins. Not with the legal facts, but with a whisper of regret. That moment marks the start of something bigger than compensation. Something about truth, redemption, and the pain we pretend we've forgotten. From the moment Sarah speaks, you sense the undercurrent. She explains, months ago, She lent a friend money, a friend she trusted, someone she thought would always be there. The agreement was informal, a handshake, a promise. No written contract, no bank transfer, just trust. Then the person vanished. No calls returned, no texts answered. Sarah felt betrayed. The money was a symbol of more than cash. It represented faith. She never thought it would lead her here. Judge Judy listens, her eyebrows arching slightly. She asks the important questions. When did you first notice something was off? What made you take this to court instead of letting it go? Sarah answers, when the birthday passed and he didn't show. When the message saying, "I'll pay you back," became silence. Her voice wavered but held together. You notice the tension in her hands. The judge doesn't miss it. Friends, tell me, have you ever lent someone something and wished you hadn't? Have you ever felt the gut-wrenching moment when trust crashes into betrayal? That's what Sarah is going through. But here's the question. Why did she wait so long? Why did she carry the pain in silence until now? We learn that Sarah had another reason for staying quiet. She had recently lost someone dear, a parent, a sibling, a pillar in her life. The loss already left her fragile.
The judge asks, "Did you tell him about your dad?" Sarah nods. "Yes. We had dinner. He listened. He said he understood. But when the loan went unpaid, he didn't call. He didn't ask how she was doing. He ignored the fragility behind her matter-of-fact business facade. And that's when the real hurt hit. When someone you trusted treats your pain as optional. You feel your own heart stir. Have you ever trusted someone, shared something vulnerable, and later felt invisible? That's what Sarah is facing. She's not just suing for dollars, she's suing for the right to be seen. The judge watches. "So, you're not only angry, you're disappointed." Sarah swallows. "Yes. And I'm tired of pretending I'm not." The audience shifts again. You sense a turning point. Now the defendant speaks again. He says, "I didn't think it was about more than money. I thought a week. Then 2. Then I got busy." His voice trails. He looks at Sarah for the first time. She looks away. You feel the moment. Judge Judy interrupts. "Busy? Do you understand what the promise meant to her?" He shakes his head. The judge leans in. "Because a promise is more than a word. It is a sign of faith. And when you break it, you break more than a ledger." The courtroom hush deepens. Then comes the reveal. Sarah shows a note, a text message from him, stating, "I'll always be here for you." It's simple, raw, unfortunate, but the judge lets it land. You see the defendant's face change. He looks surprised. "I forgot about that," he says quietly. Sarah's voice cracks. "You didn't forget. You ignored." The room shivers with truth. What happens next is emotional. Sarah dips into memory. The night her father died, the ride home, the emptiness. The next morning she found a package, a small gift from the friend who promised to pay her back. He said, "You've been there for me. Let me be there for you." She thought it meant it. She hoped it meant it. But now she realizes the gift was easier than the act. And the loan was more than money. It was a test of loyalty that failed. And here's the haunting question. When someone promises to be there and then walks away, who pays the cost? The judge sits quietly, letting the weight sink in. The defendant shifts uneasily. The audience watches, hearts tight. Sarah keeps her face composed, but her eyes glisten. She asks the judge quietly, "Is it wrong to want more than what was promised?" The judge responds, "No, it is human."